remove the wheel. I'm going to use a 17mm socket, take the lug bolts out. I'm going to go and take the last one out. I'm just going to hold the wheel from falling. And grab the wheel, take it off. Take some needle nose pliers. You want to grab the sensor on both sides and slide it out. Should slide out like that. You can take it off the bleeder screw right here. Just a little rubber cover, take that off, slide that out. Using a 13mm socket, take the 2 caliper bolts off. If you have to, you can use some pliers if the slide pins are spinning. I'll grab the caliper and just rock it back and forth a little bit. Make sure the parking brake is not applied. You can use a pry bar if you have to. Just pry it out. And using a caliper hanger, hang the caliper so that there's no tension on the brake hose. Now take the brake pads off. If you have to, you can pry those off with a pry bar. Slide those. Now behind here, there's 2 bolts that hold the caliper bracket on. We're going to take those off using a 16mm socket. And slide the bracket off. There should be a bolt holding this rotor on. You want to use a T30 socket, take that bolt out. This vehicle doesn't have that. I just put a lug bolt in here to prevent this from falling and slide it off. I'm going to remove that bolt that goes to the sensor for the wheel speed sensor. Use an 8mm socket. Take the bolt out. And take that bolt out. You want to take that sensor out. You can use some needle nose pliers and just slide it out. Now we're going to use a 16mm socket. Take all these bolts out for the hub. There's 4 of them. When you go to take the last bolt out, just grab the hub so it doesn't fall. Pull that bolt out. Then grab the hub and slide it off. If it doesn't come off that easy, just take a hammer and give it a tap. It should come off. I'm just going to take a wire brush, just clean up some of this area. Now take the hub. There's this little bump right here that's going to go at the top. Slide that in position and then take the bolts from the back side and get those started. Now I'm going to torque those bolts to 41 foot-pounds. Now take the wheel speed sensor, line that back up, Push that in, take the bolt, get that started. And just snug it down, not too tight. Take a thin coat of anti-seize and just put it on the hub surface. Now take the rotor, line that hole up with the threaded hole on the hub. And if you have that bolt, you want to put that bolt back in at this time. I'm just going to put the lug bolt in, at least one to hold the rotor on. Now slide the bracket on over the rotor. And get the bolt started. And we're going to torque those to 48 foot-pounds. Now take the brake pads. There's one that has a little bump on the bottom, and it's raised up on the top. That goes on the inside. Just like that. And then the other one goes on the outside. Now we're going to compress the caliper. You need a special caliper compressing tool that's going to turn the piston as it compresses it. Get that lined up. And as I tighten it, it turns the caliper in, turns the piston in. You can take the caliper off the hanger and slide it over the brake pads. Put the bolts in. I'm going to torque these bolts to 26 foot-pounds. Now slide this behind the bleeder screw and push that plug back down. You want to line this up so this is facing the rotor, that little bump right there. You can use some needle nose pliers to help you out. Line that up. And push it in place. If you need to, you can use a screwdriver and push it down. That's all the way down. Now put the wheel on. And the lug bolts. Get those started. Now we're going to torque the lug bolts to 110 foot-pounds in a cross pattern to tighten the wheel down evenly. Just go around again, double check. Now you want to pump the brake pedal nice and slow. There'll be an air gap in between the brake pads and the brake rotor. That's good. And you want to double check the brake fluid level and adjust accordingly.